My daughters are going to be driving in the next few years, and they're going to potentially be taking this intersection, and it scares me.
That's one parent's concern about the Plymouth County intersection, where a Remsen St. Mary's activity bus carrying the school's girls basketball team and an SUV collided Saturday. 9 people went to regional hospitals, some with major injuries.
The intersection of County Road C-80 and Highway 75 south of Hinton is a busy intersection, and with more traffic comes a greater risk of a crash. The Iowa State Patrol says over the last 10 years, that intersection has seen at least 29 collisions, with 1 fatality and 19 injuries reported. The State Patrol says the intersection is one of interest, with troopers and deputies often patrolling the area.
Now, that intersection is also of interest to the Iowa Department of Transportation. In response to a question from KTIV, Iowa DOT District 3 engineer Jessica Felix wrote, quote, "This intersection has been on our monitoring list due to ongoing developments, increasing traffic volumes in freeway roadway section. We have identified short-term items and have an operational and safety study kicking off to review the corridor from Business US 75 through James, Iowa. The short-term modifications could not be implemented until the construction had concluded in this area this last construction season." Now, residents in the neighborhood near C-80 and Highway 75 know firsthand how dangerous this intersection is.
They began advocating for change months ago after an accident there killed a 64-year-old man. KTIV's Kaylee Dom spoke to one of those neighbors. And Kaylee, what did the neighbor want us to know about that intersection?
Matt, Jessica, for months, neighbors have advocated and reached out asking for additional safety measures at that intersection. They say this latest accident is proof that change is needed.
It scares me to see accidents happen, especially if there's younger kids involved.
8 months to the day, another major accident at the intersection of County Road C-80 and Highway 75. This time involving a bus full of kids.
Anytime that you have children, it's going to hit home, and we don't want to see that happen.
Residents who have to drive through the intersection every day say they have advocated for change for months.
I see my neighbors every day turning across Highway 75 to go north, and it scares me to see that these kids are approaching or cutting across 65-mile-an-hour traffic.
Reaching out to local state representatives in the Iowa Department of Transportation.
It'd be beneficial to lower the speed limit as a possibility, so I threw that out as a possibility, as well as just increasing some lighting, potentially some flashing lights, so people know there's a lot of turning traffic.
This intersection has had 29 car accidents with 1 fatality and 19 injuries in the last 10 years. An intersection the Iowa State Patrol says they're trying to make safer.
Is a concern? Yes. And that's where the State Patrol is going to be partnered up, and then we're going to continue to work hard with the Department of Transportation and find a solution so that way we make people safe.
Together, the Iowa DOT, Iowa State Patrol, Plymouth County Sheriffs, and Woodbury County Sheriffs will work together to try and find a safer solution. More than 15 neighbors have reached out to the Iowa DOT in hope that from this incident comes action that can keep this from happening again.
As for when added law enforcement presence could be expected, the Iowa State Patrol says it has already begun.
Kaylee, thanks for that update. And you know, since a Saturday's bus accident that severely injured 3 members of the Remsen St. Mary's girls basketball team, there's been an outpouring of love and support from the community. Now, the school administration has established accounts at 2 banks where people can make donations to help the families affected. Accounts are available at the American Bank and Iowa State Bank, both in Remsen, under the name Remsen St. Mary's Catholic Schools and Girls Basketball Donation Account. Remsen St. Mary's administration gave an update this morning that 3 students remain hospitalized as they continue treatment for their injuries.